It's the Pils mountain, just behind Budapest. So it was a lost squadron. So we came back to the location where they found the wreckage 20 years ago, and it's a little bit over there. We'll walk to this place. It is a mystery. Nobody really knows what happened that day. By being a pilot myself and looking out to the landscape, you can see that it's a steep hill here. So most probably by turning around, they hit the mountain. But nobody can assure 100% what happened. Okay, so we are here at the crash site of Hans Flohr and the whole Messerschmitt squadron who crashed in 1944 here at this exact location. And we want to pay tribute to Hans Flohr by putting some flowers here, wishing him blue skies. And we will light a candle in memory of his life. Voila. The pilot was a very young pilot. He was born on 1st of May 1920 and he crashed in 1945. So he was 25 years old. He was incredibly young. And in his history, he already had one victory. A few months before he had this incident, he shot down a Liberator over, also not far away from Budapest. So finally, and the pilot's name is Hans Flohr.
Hungary served and fought with the Germans. They even built Hungarian Messerschmitt 109s. Some argue that they were actually superior in quality because the forced labour camps providing labour for Messerschmitt's factories would not necessarily have their heart and soul in the job that they were doing. And there are stories of sabotage and poor quality output. Up until March 1944, Hungary was allied with the Axis powers. It was aligned. But by this time, they could see the developing storm in the east of the Russian Army Air Force began to roll back the Nazi incursion and invasion of their homelands. And they rolled it back and they came on, continuing on into Eastern European countries such as Hungary. The Hungarian authorities, recognizing what was happening, had started to open negotiations with the communists on the belief that perhaps a negotiated deal might be better than being totally overwhelmed. The Germans, seeing this development, decided to step hard on their allies. And in Operation Margaret in March of 1944, part of this demonstration was a show of air power over the Hungarian capital, Budapest.
My name is Paul Boschung. I am from Switzerland and I am the owner of Boschung Global in Switzerland, which was founded in 2008. I started as a kid always with model aeroplanes, then later I made my flight license, glider, then the normal license, then I did aerobatic. I was a big passionate aerobatic flyer for about 15 years. We imported the first Sukhois from Russia to Europe, and I have flown competition international with Sukhoi aircraft, had about accumulated 1,000 hours on Sukhoi. And then I always was passionate by warbirds, but it is a big target because it's different kind of budget and different kind of money. And then when I decided to stop flying aerobatic, it was clear I will go into warbirds. That was about 20 years ago. Here you see the original cockpit. It is in wood, as it was. Obviously, it's now new wood. Yeah. And all the instruments which will come in here, the layout is as it was in 1944. And we will see in the instrument shop, all the instruments are being tested, overhauled, and if they don't fit, we find other ones and we test them and overhaul them. About 20-25 years ago, a special team went to recover those wreckages, special this one, this serial number here. And then we got in the parts and we decided to rebuild this aircraft in flying condition. The restoration process was long, 4 years, but we had the idea before already to bring back to flight an original 109. Of course, there are 109s, there were aces that they were flying and they were famous to bring back to flight, but for us, this particular story about the 7 aircraft crashed, we think it's, as we say, the Nazis' lost squadron. It is the Nazis' lost squadron, and this is an incredible story. As a force of power, they made a big event, and there was a big flying over with a squadron of Messerschmitts over the city of Budapest. There were many planes, there were Messerschmitts, there were some Henkel bombers and some U-52, and they flew over the city of Budapest. It was a very big event, but apparently the weather was not very good. And the Messerschmitt squadron, Messerschmitt 109 squadron, there were approximately 15, we don't know exactly, 15 Messerschmitts. Then they went over the city of Budapest. They followed the Danube River and they turned behind, there is a mountain, behind Pils mountain, and probably they tried to return back to make a second pass over the city of Budapest. And then tragically, 7 of those 15 Messerschmitts crashed into that mountain. But it was a secret, it was kept as a secret. So we then recovered this wreckage. The historian, they found out that there were 7 Messerschmitts crashed at the same site. 7 aircraft crashed into a mountain, 7 aircraft together, which is an incredible story. And nobody knew it. The story was hidden for many years because it's of course not a good thing that they crashed on a day like this. We have used as many original parts as possible. But of course, you want to fly it again, so you need to do some modifications, very tiny modifications. So here we have to put a stainless steel firewall for fire protection. During the war, the firewall was not stainless steel, it was aluminum. The original firewall is behind. Here you can see where the machine gun came in for the shooting through the cylinders in the front. So, but it's still original. But obviously this metal, of course, is stainless steel. Then we have the original Bf 109 wheel attachment points. And the other modification we have done for the flying purposes are the disc brakes. They had no disc brakes during the war, but of course it's much better to have disc brakes. They are put in a way that you cannot really see it very well that there are disc brakes, but these are the 2 main modifications from the original. Other than that, when you see at the fuselage, it is completely original. This fuselage was built in Germany during the war and then being restored from us here. and it is in the original configuration as the Bf-109 G6 was flying during the war. But all the others, they must be still down here. Yeah. But of course, 80 years, you know, like. So we came back to the location where they found the wreckage 20 years ago, and it's a little bit over there. We'll walk to this place. And it is a mystery. Nobody really knows what happened that day. Of course, it was a lost squadron. By being a pilot myself and looking out to the landscape, you can see that it's a steep hill here. So most probably by turning around, they hit the mountain. We can imagine this young pilot, he was 25 years old. And he was probably at that day, he was very proud to fly in this formation over the city of Budapest. And I'm sure he had not a lot of experience in a Messerschmitt 109. It is a very powerful, very powerful machine. Not very easy to fly. And I can imagine how this pilot was flying over the city of Budapest, being very proud to be in the formation, maybe bad weather, maybe a little bit nervous. And then he followed the leader, and somehow they crashed all into this mountain. So it's kind of a tragic story. It shows that at the end of the war, young kids were flying weapons like this. It is a weapon. And he died in this weapon. And the interesting part that we were trying to find out more about the pilots and the other pilots. Some of the names were known. But not all of the bodies, the graves were able to find. The cloud must have been very low, but you see this other mountain also. If they would have made a 180 here, they would have hit there, so they must have turned here, like in this small valley, and then turned to the left. So now it looks like it's in this little alley here, and we can also see that there is a little bit earth moving which happened here, because when they came to recover the wreckage, they had to move, of course, some earth to take it in and out, and we can see this is exactly the location. And the location is exactly where we put the flowers, officially where he crashed. And this is the incredible thing. I mean, it's just like a feeling when you imagine that 7 aircraft with the young pilots lost their lives in this very small area. Of course, we decided to go to see the crash site, and it was not very complicated. It's in that Pils mountain behind Budapest. When we went up there, it was very interesting, because when we went up there, the weather was a little bit cloudy, even a little bit raining. And from this mountain, it's all forest. You can see the Danube River, and you can see that behind the Danube River is Budapest. So we could physically imagine how they flew around the river, and they tried to turn, and then they hit the mountain, and finally we were exactly at the location, exactly where the wreckage was covered. And it was quite, let's say, emotional, because we talk about Hans Floor the last 20 years, and especially the last 4 years since we really started renovating and rebuilding this aircraft to flying condition. Here are all the original instruments that we had in the fuselage left, or some of them we had to source afterwards. You could not find, it's not easy to find all of them. Here is one particular piece which only the Germans had. This is for each machine gun, is the bullet counter. So here you see how many bullets on each cannon are left. Only the Germans had bullet counters. The British and the American had no bullet counters. So they had bullets like before the end, which had a special color, so they knew there are no more bullets left. But the German, genius as they were, they developed a bullet counter. And this is an original bullet counter of a Bf 109, very rare. Then we said, okay, we need to find the grave. We tried to find the grave. We, of course, had some information where it could be. So we were in different places in Budapest. And then we found out that in the grave that he used to be buried after the war, he was removed to a graveyard only for German soldiers. And this is a special graveyard in Budapest with 16,000, minimum 16,000 people buried there.
Hans, Floor. Ich habe ihn gefunden. I found him. I cannot believe it. We found him.
And then we went there. It was beautiful weather. And we walked into this graveyard. Can you imagine 16,000 buried people, some of them with name, some of them without name. We walk in there, we had some indication, and it took like 4 minutes. And we found him. And we found exactly the space where he is, the name, date of birth, and date when he passed away. So it was incredible. And that's what I said, the circle was closed. The circle was closed, so we started with recovering a project, starting building the project, go into the history, go to the crash site, and then we finally stayed at his place where he is now buried. And interestingly enough, it was exactly like today. It was beautiful weather. We were there, the whole team was there, some of our team were there, and we felt like a positive energy. It was nice. Yeah, and we were at the crash site a few hours ago, where 7 pilots got killed. And there now we put some candles, we closed the circle, and we are very happy and proud that we did this project, and we will be very enthusiastic to see the plane fly again. On the 109G, there are very few in the world left. And of course, we used as much original parts as possible, but we had to take the original parts, we had to test them if they are still good. If not, then we had to rebuild those parts, redesign those parts. And so it takes time. There were 33,000 produced during the war. And today, Bf 109, we have a handful left in the world, original ones. And flying Bf 109, you have maybe 4 in the world. That's it. It's an original 605 Daimler-Benz engine, which is extremely rare to find. It's practically impossible to find. You find some bits and pieces. So we could source one engine for the G6 from Germany, from a German collector, and then it was overhauled by a specialist in Austria, which is very high specialist in 605 engines. There is very little experience worldwide in 605 engines. First, I want to show you the original Mercedes-Benz DB 605 engine. Extremely rare, hard to find, not easy to overhaul. We have worked with, as I said before, experienced people from Germany and Austria who has overhauled this engine. It has already been running on the test stand, and it is now ready to put on the fuselage. if the money was needed, we found the money and we did it. We did not save a little bit here or there just to be able to finish. Everything is the best of the best, which was available, and now we have a very, very, very good test pilot who will fly the full test program. And he's very experienced and he has flown. He is probably the person which has flown the most Messerschmitt 109 in the last 20 years.
Great, great. I finally got the trim setting all right, except for the ailerons. It still needs a little tweak on the ailerons along the longitudinal axis. And but she runs great and performs well, so I'm quite happy. it's a real pilot's challenge in it. But over the years, I really got fairly close to it. I like it quite much. You know, it's a bit like you never really know where you want to go on takeoff or landing due to the narrow and wide, far forward landing gear configuration and those canted wheels. So you really need to be on top of the game every time. Once in the air, she rattles and roars like most of them, and I'm nearly deaf after each flight. So you never mind shouting at me. To be honest with you, I need to pinch myself every time I fly these things.